The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Hello, welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. It's Wednesday in the Riv, hump day, and we have our Wednesday CAG member on the show, so welcome. I'm Chip.
I'm CJ.
And I'm Nelson. Hello, Fall River.
You don't even have to give them your name now. They know
They
you.
know who you are.
They know who you are.
Before we get into any of the minutia, I have a couple of things to say. Number one, I want to extend my sympathies and condolences to the Bogan family. Dan Bogan passed away. He was a strong philanthropist here in the city of Fall River. He was a businessman. He was an acting mayor. I don't want to say mayor because he wasn't elected mayor. He was the acting mayor because he was a city council president and stepped into line. That was when Eddie Lambert stepped down, correct?
Correct.
Yep, I thought so. So, again, I want to extend my sympathies to his family. And I found out when reading the obituary that the district attorney, Thomas Quinn, is his son-in-law.
Wow. Yeah,
So-
that's something that wasn't
Wasn't
public
really
knowledge.
Right, it wasn't public knowledge. So that's very interesting. Now, we all know that we're going to get a major visit in Somerset from Brandon.
Yeah.
Now, according to reliable sources, these are all allegations. According to reliable sources, the Fall River delegation was not invited. And according to high-ranking political sources, this speaks volumes as to the way the people of Fall River are represented by these elected officials.
Yeah, and the perception in Fall River,
Right.
In general, you're right.
Exactly.
You're right. But let's make this perfectly clear. Auchincloss is going to be there because Auchincloss is the guy that opened the door for Stephen Colbert's crew
Right.
that illegally entered the Capitol.
Right.
And it was terrorism. Actually, a Democratic congressman called the Capitol Police. And what are they doing to them? And they said they were credentialed and they were not. But they're not prosecuting them because of the double standard that we have
Right.
in this country. But, saying a Fall River delegation's not going to be there. But you know something? I'm not sure. Auchincloss may sneak Paulie in his pocket.
Paul's on vacation.
He may hide him. He may hide. What do you mean? The 24-hour, not non-ceremonial mayor, he gets a vacation? I thought he was there 24 hours a day.
According to what I was told this morning, and believe me, my phone's been ringing since before 6 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't get to sleep.
That's why I shut my phone off at night.
They were calling my cell phone, my house phone, everything. According to sources, Paul took a 3-day vacation. Maybe Paul wasn't invited to meet the president. Maybe they're not going to meet the president because I saw the schedule. I gave it to our producer. I, on the other hand, would not release the schedule publicly because I don't need the Secret Service crawling up my backside with a microscope. And it just goes to show you what's going on.
Yeah.
But I know the governor won't be there. I believe he's in Maine. I'm not sure.
The governor that wants to collapse the economy of Massachusetts.
Because they didn't send me his schedule for yesterday, which means he's out of the area. Because I got Karen Polito's schedule. It says acting governor Karen Polito will be at the governor's council meeting at noon. So I guess that means she wasn't invited.
They don't want to be near. They don't want to be near.
A lot of people don't want to be near.
He's like an albatross.
Right.
He's gonna drag.
Now, according
his
to
poll numbers are so low, that snails are going to look up to see him.
According to sources, and it was posted all over social media, there will be a demonstration at the entrance or at the intersection before the entrance to Brighton Point from 12 to 4. That's an hour before
He gets there.
everything takes effect. The
Yeah.
the FAA flight ban and all this, no-fly zones and all this other stuff. And 4 o'clock, which I believe he's going to be on his way out of here by then. This is a quick bang and gone.
Yeah, look. This is a perfunctory visit because he wants to come to friendly territory because he'll be flanked by all the other liars like he is. He'll be flanked by Markey, the liar who said he was running on term limits, and 40 years later he's still in Congress. That's the longest term limit I ever saw. What is it? I guess when he didn't finish that sentence, I believe in term limits, you should spend no less than 70 years in Congress.
Right.
And then you have to retire. And then I don't know if Pocahontas will be here because the fake Indian, because she may be running against him for president. So she may not be here, but they're all liars. But look, let's get down to the bottom because this is an insult to the public. He's down here with his Green New Deal, and we already got our nitwit governor they're going to outlaw natural gas, which is going to collapse the economy. He's down here selling something that they've proven doesn't work. These wind farms go to only poor areas because they think they're going to get rich and they're going to save money, and that's not true. We've proven that. We saw what happened in Texas when they lost power. They actually collapsed the country of Sri Lanka and a couple of other countries that went totally green. They're now completely gone. Sri Lanka is dead. They're going to resurrect the country. And Europe, who went nutty green, is now going back to fossil fuel. Germany's going back to coal and fossil fuels because they found out it's not viable. You can't be 100% green.
Right.
And they're all making money on this deal, but he's coming down to talk to the rubes. He's coming down here to a place where it doesn't matter if you've got even 1/10 of a brain. If you got a D after your name in an election, you're probably going to get elected.
Right.
Okay? And this is non-hostile territory. They're going to be a few people that are going to be all queuing up to get a picture, with brain dead.
Right. Well, here's the kicker. The thing about this president is this. Do you know how much money he spent in Massachusetts on advertising during the presidential campaign? Any idea?
$32.
$25,000.
Yeah, that's like
on
$32.
Radio ads only. Yeah. Right, it's like $32. And that shows you how guaranteed Massachusetts is for the Democratic Party. That shows you how guaranteed they are. And you see that every presidential election because before the votes are even closed, already you look at the map and it's whoop, all the blue states are marked blue and they're taken already. So not that that's a bad thing, not that that's a good thing, but you know what? I want a little bit of
competition breeds a better level of everything.
Right.
Better
well, I want a little
prices,
variety in my salad. You know what I mean?
But look, this is an
Variety
insult.
is nice.
Go ahead.
But nonetheless, he is the president. I hope he has a great time here in Massachusetts, right? So, as we know, Paulie likes to spin the tale, right, with Robeson Street.
Wait a minute. What you're getting off to? Oh, wait a minute. After you gave us that thing, he is the president. No, he's not the president. He's the guy who they put up there, give a couple of drugs to, and let him read a script.
That's it.
So let's get that straight. That's your opinion, and you're entitled to it, Nelson.
Yeah.
But he isn't the president.
All right.
He is the president, like Paul is the mayor. Okay.
Okay.
So,
There's puppeteers around.
So right here is the top coat for Robeson Street. Right here. Thank you, Karen, man. I like that right there. And that red circle is them digging into it. A newly paved road. This is your tax dollars at work, ladies and gentlemen. And just in case they try to say I'm a liar, here is them performing and installing the new top coat for Robeson Street. Both sides. You really cannot make this stuff up.
And you know it's a top coat because the double lines are going up Robeson Street, and all the crosswalks have been painted. And yet I was driving up Robeson Street between Bedford and Locust, I believe it was, and there's a metal plate in the new asphalt.
Crazy.
Okay? Where is our money going? They did the same thing on Stafford Road.
Yep.
And on Stafford Road, they said, oh, that's not the final coat. And on Robertson Street, they told me when I asked about it, they said, oh, no, that's not the final coat. Then why, and I said, then why do you have the lines painted and the crosswalks painted?
Look, we know they lie about everything.
Right.
They lie about everything. And look at, I understand that what you said was a rhetorical question. It's not a real question. What are they doing with our money?
Right.
We know what they're doing with our money.
Giving high pay raises.
They're urinating into a hole and giving all their friends pay raises. They don't care that we have to dig up a street again right after it's paved. They don't need to be efficient. They're not private industry. They're the government. And they can spend your money any way they damn well please until you get them out of office. That's the problem. I know it was rhetorical. Now, there's actually a pretty good picture of what we do with that money, and I don't know when Nelson's going to divulge it, but everybody really pay attention because he's got a really good picture at some point.
Now, guys, what is the monthly rent that I've been hearing about that you're going to need $72,000 a year for a one-bedroom to qualify? What's that monthly price?
12 or 1,300.
It was 2,000, right?
Yeah, 2,000.
3 times,
30.
3 times the rent?
Yeah.
Well, cameraman, I love to be vindicated because apparently it's already coming. Zoom in on this, please, if you can. Read that. What does it say? Rents across the United States rise above $2,000 a month for the first time ever. It's on its way, just like South Coast Rail.
And that's from NPR.
This is from NPR. This was put on June 9th, 20 days from the most infamous appearance Paulie did at the Baptist Church, by the way. And here are the details about this. A new report shows that nationally listed rents for available apartments rose 15% from a year ago. And the median listed rent for an available apartment rose above $2,000. Rents are up more than 30% in Austin, Seattle, and Cincinnati. Even in formerly affordable cities such as Nashville, it's now $2,140, up from 32%. So you see, it's coming. Okay, the rubber's gonna meet the road in the city very soon, and I've been hammering this down to the bone to make sure that Paulie, who just doesn't know anything today.
Paulie No Nuts?
Paulie No Nuts doesn't know anything. And you see, and according to Market Watch, it was the biggest monthly rent increase in 36 years. And rent prices rose by 0.8% in June, according to the Labor Department, and that's the largest monthly gain since 1986, 2 years before I was born. That's how big rents have increased.
Well, you know that because obviously the only person on the planet Earth that doesn't know this is our mayor. Because it's like he's oblivious. The gubernatorial candidate has said there's a crisis in Massachusetts.
Yep.
Nationwide, every time you turn on the TV, they talk about the rental crisis for the average people in the country. But in Fall River, nada, crickets. Paulie just goes along his merry way and says, "I'm on vacation."
And right here too, you see Paul right here, $36 and 24 cents an hour right here, according to the state of Massachusetts. You need to work 107 hours a week at the current minimum wage to afford that apartment. But as of right now, before it hits $2,000, you need to work $36, 24 cents an hour. That means 2 full-time jobs don't even cut it, working 16-hour days. And it gets even better too. You see, Paul, when you look at this page, when you look at this page, you may see the percentages and categories of the low-income renters in the state. This is for Massachusetts, but in our city, the number's a lot bigger than this. You see, Paul, the difference between you is that you may see this paper, but I see real people. And the pictures that I'm going to show are the real people that the Herald News used. Okay? These are the people, Paul, right here. These are the people, Fall River teacher, who attended that Baptist church meeting, that affordable housing forum. Rachel Martin, teacher. Okay? She's concerned. Everyone who attended that is concerned.
And she has a decent job. Let's remember that. She's an average working person.
Yeah. Right here, another one. Salara Rodriguez with her son, most likely Mateo Rodriguez, worried about what's going to happen. Worried that they know what's happening and what's coming to the city of Fall River. Okay, these are the people. This is who I see. I don't see numbers. I see people. Let's keep it going. And one person that attended, she got emotional. Right here. These are the people, Paul. Right here. This is who, according to the Reverend, and that church does a lot for the community.
Yes, it does.
They do a lot for the community, okay? They said, and this is according to Reverend Jamie Spriggs, and she knows, very fine lady. You want to know what she said, Paul, in the article? She said, quote, I don't want to be giving out tents. That's what she said in the article, quoted specifically. Everyone's telling you that the type of housing that you are in favor of is just does not work. But you want to know something? Everyone inside that place ought to be very, very disrespected, because the person that we know who has the means and said, you know what? We all know what the infamous quote is. Now this is going to ring, this picture is going to ring in everyone's head who literally needs a roof over their head. Right here. Right here. This is the man right here. Zoom that in, please. Right here. See this, Paul? This is you. And what you said, what do you want me to do? And yet you're the one holding all the money. And yet you call yourself a mayor? I'm going to tell you who's a mayor. Mayor Mitchell in New Bedford, who is spreading that money around, who is bringing affordable subsidized housing, using ARPA and home funds. Okay? This is the man in Fall River, folks. This is the man that attended that forum with you, and just a day later said the infamous quote at the bottom. And what do you want me to do?
The interesting thing is, Nelson, at that meeting, that conference, whatever you want to call it, that summit, he had no statements about affordable housing. None. He says, I'm working with developers. We have a project going up on South Main Street where we're going to have some affordable units. He talks about 3 or 4 out of, 40 or 50 or even 100. I mean, just look on Alden Street. There was 100 some odd units. They had 3 units made available for a lottery with 400 people being in the lottery.
As we said, we've seen communities. We just saw a community in Rhode Island that opened up an entire building that was all affordable housing, right? With 100 and some units.
Right.
This is what the entire country, and the irony of this is, I mean, talk about Mayor Clueless. His friends don't care. Let's first put this in context.
Yeah.
The people that surround him are the people that go in front of the council and they don't see people. They see liabilities. They say you can't afford it. Move out of the city. Well, where are you going to move? This is a nationwide issue, and this is one of the cheapest places to live. Was no longer, thanks to people like this, predatory mayors and developers. But the key is they do not care. Move out of town, go to Russia, go jump in the Taunton River. We do not care. And the alleged, and let's make that alleged quote by the octopus man. Let him move to Brockton or New Bedford.
Yeah.
Let's not help the people of Fall River. And I still have the picture on my phone of us at that Flint Neighborhood Association meeting. And I remember that presentation, and I remembered vividly that individual was saying how they wanted to keep the community, keep the Flint as to what it really is. And this is the exact opposite. They're eliminating everybody fundamentally that lives in the Flint.
And if you remember
this
the
is
maps,
absurd.
if you remember the maps had red areas, which they had already designated were going to be redeveloped as market rate housing.
Already.
I mean, they haven't even started the redevelopment yet. This building, this building, this building, this building. I mean, they had it all set up
because
from
they got
Brighton
the list
Avenue,
from their developers.
from Brighton Avenue to Stafford Square. They had them all set up. That's not going to keep the neighborhood the same. Okay, that's actually going to drive businesses away, is what they're looking to do. And then Carol Fiola claims in her recent release of successes in this year's budget that she's gotten $1.1 million, 500,000 here, 600,000 there, et cetera, for the Pleasant Street corridor, for the redevelopment of it.
Or the destruction.
Or the destruction of it.
Destruction of it. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Because number one, as we said before, this Pollyannish attitude of they think this is a movie. What was that movie? Build it and they will come. The baseball field and the ghosts were in a
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams in Iowa. This isn't heaven. This is Iowa. Well, I hate to tell you this, Paul, and your band of merry rich people. You guys are the reverse Robin Hoods. You steal from the poor and give more to the rich.
Right.
You're like the inverted Robin Hood. You're Hood Robin. So
now, don't get me wrong.
You're the Robin. You're the Robin Hood. You're Robin from the poor, and you don't care about them. Let's make this very, very clear. This is a class war. This is rich people who don't care if poor people are living in tents. And we've been saying that for a while. That was the new slogan. Can't afford your rent? Get a tent.
Yeah, and then that's the Logan for Fall River pretty soon.
And what Nelson has presented here today, he didn't make those numbers up. You turn on the TV, every time you turn it on, somebody's talking about affordable housing, about multiple units, because they understand the plight of their community, or at least pretend to. But that's the great thing about Paul. Paul doesn't even pretend.
Right.
He just ignores it.
Right.
Listen, we have somebody who thinks that being mayor is just all about giving out hamburgers, hot dogs, and a movie. He ought to just call himself the recreational director, because you see, Paul, you're not. This is not just a place where you just give out hot dogs and hamburgers in a movie. You're in charge of adults with children who are on the verge of being homeless because they can't pay their rent. The people that I showed you are real people, not just numbers. Real people getting emotional. See, the difference between me and you, Paul, is that yes, I may not be a homeowner, property owner yet, but here's what I know. I know two things. That property owners that have owned their property for 20 plus years mortgage free are on the verge of being priced out because you don't want to rein in the spending to cut out the fat so that you don't have to raise 2.5%. Even though you gave a promise back in 2019 and said that we had a surplus of $6 million, that you was going to return that $6 million back to the people. It's never happened. It was the tax increase after tax increase. And in fact, back in 1970, President Nixon issued the Stabilization Act of 1970, when at that time we had history of inflation, and he put a stop to wages and prices for a certain amount of time. Here, you didn't even bother to do that for 1 year to give people a chance. That's number one. And number two, I know that renters are sitting at the kitchen table, just like property owners, but are sitting at the kitchen table with their families, crying as to where they're going to go. And yet the man with the means, the man who has the money, okay, who has the means, doesn't want to do a damn thing, because right after that appearance you gave in that church, you gave the interview and you said the most infamous quote right here. What do you want me to do? And even though you are holding the bags of money, you got $15 million from the first payment and another 35 with the second one that you haven't sent down to the council yet. It's not hard to figure out how to take care of people. And yet, you don't understand, you don't know how to play your position. All you know how to do is just show up for the camera and leave. That's all you know how to do. But right here, Fall River, this is the man who said, what do you want me to do? And given COVID, when COVID was hitting us really hard, homelessness picked up in Fall River. It ticked up. It ticked up. It's in the article. It's all there. People are telling you that what you're advocating for, market rate housing and all this crap, it's not there for the people who need it most. And that's what I'm advocating for.
Well, I'll give you a justification from the mayor. This is his justification. I've given Catholic Social Services money to do rent stabilization if people are being evicted. The problem is that for you to get help from Catholic Social Services, you have to be evicted, by which time the landlord, the property owner, doesn't want you there anymore, and he just wants you out. And then to get the money,
We're not. Look, I don't even want to give that pile of bull excrement even a second of our time on this show. Because that, again, is a deflection of the mayor.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I do not want Catholic Social Services doing anything. I want the mayor of this city of Fall River to prioritize the average working person that throughout the country is being looked at by leaders, and stop passing the buck. Oh, it's the trash committees. It's the trash committee. Oh, it's the water committee. Oh, it's this committee. Oh, it's that committee. Oh, it's that committee. Paul, you've been a damn vice principal way too long. You couldn't run a one-man parade, okay? You like to run parades. You couldn't run a one-man parade. You're not a leader. You want to farm out everything, delegate everything. Well, the buck stops with you. Harry Truman said it best. The buck stops here.
And
we do not need Catholic Social Services. And as I said on a previous show, remember, as CJ said, once a person can't pay their rent for months, the landlord doesn't want them anymore. And this is not, so it's not the issue. The issue is don't pay, can't pay. Don't pay, can't pay. These people are now not being able to make their new rents. Why? Because you can't get them a job. You give all your friends those and the pay raises. How dare you ignore somebody in this city when you gave somebody a $19,000 pay raise? $19,000. That's $7,000 less than a per capita income in Fall River. So you gave somebody virtually about 80% of what somebody lives on for the year for a pay raise. And then add all the other pay raises you gave. How dare you pretend you even give a damn about the average person in Fall River? And hopefully, because they normally don't get off their butts until it starts hurting, well, they're all hurting. And I'm going to tell you something. A year this November, you're not going to see a 14% turnout.
Well, no, because we also got mail-in ballots now, so that now takes away the excuses that people have.
And folks, listen, $2,000, it's on its way. It's on its way. It's spreading. It's no longer the big cities. It's spreading everywhere. Average household income in the United States is about $54,000.
It's like walking around in a dog park. Sooner or later, you got to step into a
The
pile.
rubber's going to meet the road, and we got somebody who has the means but doesn't want to do a damn thing. Paul, you ought to resign in shame for being negligent, for not doing your job. The do-nothing mayor.
Yeah, no argument for me on that, that's for sure. Well, people, I want to thank Nelson for being here today.
My pleasure.
I want to thank you for watching, and remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. And stay off 195 between 12 and 4. Thank you.